Welcome back. Now, finding the good life is all about doing the things that we need to do to find a true sense of health and well-being in life, and in the process, finding inner peace and happiness. The good life has different meanings for different people, but there is one common foundation beneath all people who enjoy the good life, and that is the love and honor of oneself. Honoring and loving your body, your mind, your spirit, and that of those around you. Our guest today is an expert who's devoted his life to just that, to helping people do what it takes to truly love and honor oneself and those whose lives they are connected to and they touch. Dr. John Deloney is a mental health expert and host of the Dr. John Deloney Show. He has 2 PhDs and over 2 decades of experience in counseling, crisis response, and higher education. His goal is to help you navigate through tough decisions, improve your relationships, and believe you're worthy of well-being. He's the best-selling author of the must-read book, Own Your Own Past, Change Your Future. He's also co-host of the Dave Ramsey Show, the second largest talk show in the nation, heard by over 18 million listeners weekly. As well as being the host of the Dr. John Deloney Show. Dr. Deloney, we want to thank you for taking the time to be with us today and for helping us to help other people.
You bet. Thank you so much. Y'all are a gift. I'm grateful.
Well, after seeing all that education and experience, I'm like, what fountain of youth did you fall into?
I didn't have a lot of friends, so there's a trade-off.
Well, I just finished your book recently, and I was really, really impressed with it. And I'd like you, you spend a good amount of time laying a foundation of telling stories, and people have stories. Tell our listeners and tell us exactly what is a story.
Well, most of us, all of us have grown up in systems and in families and in communities and in cultures that there's a set of stories that we were born into. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is what God looks like. This is what God doesn't look like. There is no, right? So we're all born into a set of stories. And then there's stories that we were told about what we were worth or what we were good at or what we weren't good at. And those are stories that our parents told us, our coaches told us, our teachers told us, our friends and community, media told us, right? And then there's those stories about the things that we did. I actually won the race, or I got dead last. I'm just not that fast. Or I didn't work very hard. Or stories about people we hurt, or stories about times we got hurt, right? And then all of those stories jumble together. And they become the stories that we tell ourselves about what we're good at, what we can't do, what our limitations are, what we can do. And most of us simply go through our lives not understanding that script is running all the time, all the time, all the time.
So I know in the book you shared your own story, and we don't have, your story is amazing, but just condense it for us. Tell us your story. Tell us what led you through the road from where you were to where you are growing through now.
I had everything. If you looked up the word privilege in the dictionary, my face would be next to it. My parents just celebrated their 50th anniversary. They're great folks. My mom's a professor. My dad was a police officer and then a minister for a while, and now he's a professor. Things were good. And then I got my first PhD in a fancy job, and my wife was a brilliant researcher and professor. We had a new son, and I had everything. And there was this continual churn that said, you're not enough, you're not enough, you're not enough, you need to go accomplish, you need to go achieve, you need to go achieve. And this is where the story gets Hollywoodized most of the time. Somebody burns a building down or cheats on their wife or steals millions of dollars. That's not most of our stories. Most of our stories is just like mine, where I just accepted this is the way life is, and my knees are always gonna hurt, I'm always gonna have headaches, and I'm always just gonna be tired, and my wife and I are just gonna slowly drift apart, and my kid's just going to get loud and annoying, and I'm just going to spend more time at work, and I'm going to double down on my addictions, which are busyness and pleasing other people. And all of a sudden my body said, I'm out, I'm done. And in my particular situation, I was walking to work one day, and I turned around and went back to the parking lot and drove 3 hours away to a buddy's office who's a medical doctor. And I walked in and said, I'm not okay. And that was the first time I ever uttered those words. And I ended up getting a second PhD, like we mentioned, in counseling. And it was simply me being a curious nerd, trying to figure out what's happening to our communities, what's happening to our marriages, what's happening to my marriage, what's happening to me, my students. And it's really been a journey the last 10, 15 years to figure out, man, we've created a system, we've created a world for ourselves that our bodies just simply can't live in. And how do we make peace with that as we move forward?
That's really the foundation of your book and the turning point for you. I mean, in the beginning of your book, you talked about I had the image of you crawling on your hands and knees in a rainstorm in your pajamas, I guess, with a flashlight.
In my underwear.
In your underwear.
Oh, to see
Even
the
better.
cracks. You told me that, to see the
Yeah,
cracks under
yeah,
the
to see
foundation.
the and
Oh my
I
gosh,
know
yeah.
that I know that feeling because I remember parts in my life where I said, you know, the wheels are falling off the wagon. It's time to make a change and to do something. And that's I guess the starting point of change is realizing that I need to do something and go somewhere differently.
We've created an extraordinary world for ourselves, a life for ourselves, where we're never uncomfortable, and we have silenced our body's innate alarm systems, like anxiety, like low-level dysthymia, just that feeling of blah, like frustration, like sadness, like grief, and we've become distracted. Netflix just says, "Hey, I'm going to go ahead and start the next episode because I know you're just going to want to sit there and watch it." And Jeff Bezos says, "Hey, you're probably, based on the stuff you've bought, you're going to want to buy this too." We've just created a world that we never have to feel. And so I think it's important if we can get back to listening to ourselves and being around a group of people that we trust, which we're the loneliest generation in human history. If we can get around a group of people that we trust, we can listen to our bodies again. It will let us know, hey, this isn't the right job for you, or your relationship's got challenges, or you need to learn some new skills as a young parent, or the community you live in isn't safe, or you're in an abusive relationship. Like, our bodies will tell us. We just got to stop silencing those alarms.
Wow, that is, and especially in this generation that lives through basically Instagram, they talk about being silenced. I mean, it's all about beautiful imagery. And so they don't really face the real world.
And with communication, we were told that we would be the most connected generation in human history, and we're not. We do transmit more information. So when I text my wife, I love you, I'm giving her data, I'm giving her information. I am not connecting with her. And so her frontal lobe gets the data. My husband says he loves me. But the part of her brain that says I'm safe and I'm loved and I'm seen and I'm known, that part gets quiet when she feels my hug, when I show up, when I say I'm going to, when I pick up my socks out of the corner, like, right, when I help meet her needs. And we have outsourced all of our communication and technology. And so we've got these brains that are full of info, but we've got bodies that are screaming for connection and a solution to loneliness. And you know what's a great solution to loneliness? Literally the biochemical, like a quick fix, is alcohol, is intimacy with a stranger, is another flashy video game thing, right? So we've created all these proxies for deep needs that our bodies need.
Doctor, we have so much more to talk about and more that we can learn from you. Would you mind staying a bit longer so we can take this break?
You bet. Let's do it all day.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll be back with more Finding the Good Life after this quick break.
Happy dog, happy life. Yeah, we get it. There's an app for pet parents like us. Buddies by Blue Buffalo. Download and sign up now to get a free bag of treats.
If your loved one has passed away due to COVID-19, pay close attention to this message. You could be entitled to a death benefit of over $300,000. The U.S. government has set up a fund to pay families relief if they've lost a loved one due to COVID-19. Time is limited, so we urge you to make a free phone call right now. All legal fees are only covered once you receive your money. Call the legal helpline right now to find out if you qualify for a cash award.